So it's been a few years and you finally remember that strings on a guitar needs to be changed. So let's see how we do it. Now there are more than one way to do it. What I'm going to show is how to do it without, first of all, hurting yourself. Second of all, how to do it properly. And we're going to do a little bit of maintenance and setup for the guitar after we do it. Now I'm going to take this guitar from a standard D to a standard C. So what we'll need is, first of all, a higher gauge strings. We'll need Allen key, some warm water, fiber cloth if you have one, or cutter, and a screwdriver. Maybe even two, kind of depends what kind of guitar you have. What I have here is an Ibanez RG1451, which was released in 2010. I have it since 2011, it's a Japanese made, and I love it. Because, well, first of all, it's mine. Now, the first thing that usually people do is just go ahead and cut the strings. This will get you hurt. So what we need to do first is release the strings. Now, you don't have to release everything, and if you have a string winder, even better. You just need to release it so it will be slack. Okay, this should be good enough. Now the reason we're taking a higher gauge is because we're dropping the tuning even lower. We need to keep the tension still approximately high. This is also the reason why we're going to do a little bit of setup, because when you're changing gauges and changes tuning, the setup is usually getting a little bit, well, screwed up. We're going to make sure that the action is going to be, well, at least playable. It will not buzz and make different sounds or noises that we actually don't want. And we're going to make sure that the bridge itself is tuned so the scaling actually sounds good on open strings and in the middle of the griff. Now, after we select the strings, we can go ahead and cut. Just be careful because you do not want to get hurt. Great, so after we got that out of the way, it's time to take the strings out. And again, be very, very careful because this thing is sharp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now what we need to do is wrap it so it will not get lost, fall somewhere and hurt somebody else. Great. Flip the guitar over. If you have a floating bridge, so the setup might be a little bit different, but it's really much similar to how I'm currently doing this. Taking this out. If you can wrap it also, it will be great. If not, just throw it away. Great. Now when we got that out of the way, let's do a little bit of cleaning. Take a little bit of paper or a cloth if you have, a little bit of warm water, and just go through your guitar and make sure that it's actually clean. Now what I'm using is, this is special paper for cleaning screens, so it's very delicate. It's very delicate, so it will not leave any micro scratches on your guitar. And if you have a glossy finish, that's for sure something you do not want. You can see that this is loose, it's not locked in. The rest are fine, but this one specifically is loose. So if it's loose, all you need to do is take some kind of a ratchet, I guess, tighten those things up. Not too much. Now you can see that I am putting very, very little pressure. Great, when we got that out of the way, now let's take our strings out. On all, the width of the strings will be defined by a color. You can see it on the back side of the package. So when you're opening, just make sure not to tear off those colors and sizes. Okay, so let's see. Our first string is an E, and it needs to be silver. We get the silver one. They usually come in pairs. We have first 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. Just watch out not to hurt yourself. Taking the silver one. Silver. Turn your guitar over. Now the first string goes to the first hole, which is the closest to you. Make sure when you put it in that it goes smoothly. You don't want to bend the string and destroy it. This one goes pretty smoothly. Great. Let's turn it over just to make sure that it's in place. Everything looks good. You can do it one by one, put it inside of your tuner. I usually just put everything in and then go one by one. So I said, because they're coming in pairs, you don't really need to check each string individually. You will always know that one of them is the first one to go and the other one is the second one to go. So let's see here, G, which is the third string, the third hole, is a green one. So it's this. So our fifth string is A and it's a red one. Here's the red one. Great. Now we're finished with this part. You can turn it over, take all your strings, stretch them forward. If you have locking tuners, awesome. You're basically done with this part. Just put it in, lock it in, give it a few turns. If you don't have locking tuners, like I don't, there is a way how to put it in the best way to hold tuning. So the first thing is you put it in. Depending on the width of the string or the number of the string, that also defines how much slack you need to give that string for it to catch properly inside of the tuner. For the sixth one, because it's rigid, you're not obligated to leave a lot of slack. You can leave a little bit of slack, but just to make sure it holds properly, we're gonna do this. So you stretch the string, put your finger on the 12th fret and go 1, 2. This is you're gonna be left with. Now this part is crucial. You need to remember that we always tune down, which means when a string is being wrapped around the tuner, it needs to go down. Let's start tuning. Now you can see that the string is starting to be wrapped out downward. Easiest way to do it is just take the string the other side, pull it up, if you can do it with one hand. If not, just keep doing this. But before we continue, we need a way to lock it in place. To be able to lock it in place, we need to wrap the string around itself. How do you do that? You take the string itself before wrapping it around and take it under the string. Now this creates a problem. It wants to go up. We need to keep pushing it down. So we do this, you can lock it in place. And now when we continue wrapping it around, at this point, you need to push it down like this. Rotating and making sure that the string is below itself. And this creates a locking mechanism. I wish I had a winder. You can see that the string is basically holding itself between itself. Yeah, so let's continue with the rest of the strings. Do not cut it yet. We'll cut it later on. Stretch the string, finger on the 12th fret, take it 2 frets back. Now for strings, 3, 2, and 1, really depends on your gauge, but because they are slick and they don't have the extra string wrapped around them, we do need to give it a little bit more slack, just in case. So the same as the first one and the second and the third, or where the gauge is higher, we stretch the string, put on the 12th fret, and then go not only 2 frets, but 3 frets back. So from 12 to 15. Now for the first string, because it's also the slickest and the thinnest, I would usually give it 1 more fret just in case. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Great, let's put a tuner in. We have the strings ready. Now we need to tune, well, first tune of the guitar itself. Well, I'm saying first tune because the strings are still very, very fresh. They need to stretch, and also, as I said, the first 3 are usually very slick, so they will require some time to be put into position. So because I'm tuning from standard D to standard C, it means I'm going to be having C, F, A diez, D diez, G, and C. After you did the first tuning, you need to stretch your strings. So I'm gonna take each string, give it a little bit of pull, not too much, you don't want to ruin the whole work you just did. Just give it a little bit of stretch, and let's tune it again. Second tune, same thing, we're going through each string, give it a little bit of stretch, and again. Nice. Everything sounds good. Now at this point, because I was going one tone down for all the strings, but I kept the gauge higher, my tension of the strings is actually pretty good. It sounds, there's a little bit of buzzing, but nothing terrible. I just go through the strings. This one bothers me a little bit. Fifth, sixth, fifth string and sixth strings. Yeah, 5 and 6. 5 and 6 give me a little bit of problems. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lift the action a little bit only for these two strings. And how do we do it is actually pretty simple. So for each guitar, you have these little Allen keys here, as you can see that. Number 2 here, let's see that it actually fits, it doesn't do any problems. Nice, fits well. You don't want it to be too slack because you don't want to ruin the threading itself. So what we're gonna do is, first of all, you're gonna release a little bit the string, and then we're gonna give it only half a turn. So even quarter of a tone, because that's already a lot, I think. Now let's tune it again, give it a little bit of stretch. We basically gave the sixth string a little bit more height. So now it should still buzzing a little bit. Let's give it a little bit more. Let's see if we can do it without releasing the tension. Yeah, this is much better. Although the height is a bit high now. I'm gonna release it a little bit because this is too high for me. Okay, let's see how that goes. Where's my pick? There it is. It doesn't mute the sound itself, it just, no. The other one, quarter of a turn. Okay, I do need to raise it a little bit more, but I don't want to, because this is already starts to be a little bit too high for me. So what we can do is actually give a little bit turn to the truss rod, and give a little bit more bend to our neck. But my neck is already, my action is already pretty low, and if I give it more, then everything else will start buzzing. This means that this guitar will require some bit more professional work. I do not have the tools to start shaving off my frets. Also, I don't really want to do that because, well, I'm not a professional guitar tuner, builder, or anything like that. So I'm going to leave it as is because this is good. Oh, the tuning is not. Give a little bit more stretch, just to flex those strings. It's not too much, you don't want to ruin the work. Yeah, this is pretty good. Now at this point, basically, you just change your strings. You have new shiny string that sound like golden. Now, these leftovers, don't cut them off just yet. Give it several hours of playing. Go, you know, do some jamming, some hard picking. Give the string some time to actually stretch a bit more, and probably after an hour or two, you're good to cut this off. So I'm going to leave it on for now. This is pretty good. And if you're still having problems, well, sorry, you probably need more professional attention to your guitar. So don't cheap out on that one. Take your guitar to your local shop so they can actually give it a proper proper tuning and proper setup. Yeah, and this is how you bring your guitar from standard C or standard D in my case to standard, well, from standard E to standard D or standard D to standard C. So if you're playing currently on standard E, you still want to take it whole two tones down. Currently you probably have a 0.9 to 0.11. It will be a new sensation because it's noticeably thicker, but at least you have that metal chalk. Okay, so here's the last thing. After it's been an hour or two, the strings have set. Now, for the last part, this is totally unnecessary. You don't really have to do this. It's just an extra little step to make sure that that tuning is final. So what you do is basically taking the string or whatever is left, taking it under the string and give it a little bit of stretch. From here we take the cutter and this part we just cut it off. Same thing from the rest of them. You take it from the other side, give it first a stretch this way, then take it under, pull it up, give it again a stretch, up and cut. It's less important for the top strings, it's less important for the bottom strings because again they're rigid, but it will help with the top strings. So for the bottom strings, as I said, it's less important, but for the top strings it usually helps, especially it helps them not to slip away in case of higher tensions. So you can see this is going here. You can try and catch it, give it a little stretch under. I hope you can see this. It goes under the string, above the string. Let's just try and catch it here, like so, and cut. So now we're basically ready. After you cut everything on, after you cut everything out, you locked the strings, gave it additional tuning. Ready to go? So yeah, thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, leave your questions in the comments below and I will make sure to answer them as best as I can. See you next one.